It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
Garrett has a question. If you have an unexpected expense that reduces your emergency fund, would you reduce your retirement contributions to increase cash flow, sell your brokerage assets, or just wait until you can build up your emergency fund like over time? And so for some additional context, here's why he's asking. He's 31 years old. He's maxing out his Roth 401k, doing backdoor Roth, doing mega backdoor Roth, and he's trying to decide, should he temporarily back down the retirement or should he sell some of his brokerage funds, or what should he do? What do you guys think?
See, Garrett gave us too much context. We know too much about him now, right? Because he just told us that he's maxing out his 401k and he's maxing out mega backdoor. Is that what you said?
He did say mega backdoor Roth.
So, and Garrett didn't give us his income, did he?
He did not.
So what I'm guessing, Garrett, is if you're maxing out 401k and if you're maxing out mega backdoor, unless you have a super high income, which you may, I bet your savings rate is through the roof. I bet you are like well beyond the 20 to 25% threshold. You get that vibe, right?
I think he makes a good income. Anybody who can do the backdoor Roth and max it out, you usually have to have a decent income.
So do you think his savings rate is just the 20, 25%, or you think he's got more of the savings rate there?
I think he's probably already over it.
Okay.
If I had to base, but I mean, I'm playing the whole, back into it through deduction, and I deduced that is that even a word? Did I?
Deduce is a word. Yeah, it's a word.
But I've come to the point that I think he has more. Here's what I would think. Remember when we talk about emergency reserves, we say 3 to 6 months. Mm-hmm. You need to think about it, because as I've made it through the financial order of operations, my emergency reserves actually expanded. Because now I actually have, in addition to saving and investing 25%, I wanted extra cash because I have businesses, I have other things, and I wanted opportunity money in case more real estate or something else comes along. So I would ask Garrett first, how lean is he cutting that emergency reserves? But where an unexpected expense is now side railing, because maybe there needs to be the first step on this analysis is, hey, should we recalibrate what the emergency reserves in step 4 of the financial order of operations is? Because I know it sounds like Garrett has tried to maximize the wealth building, which is very important. I'm all for it, especially if he's young. I think he said 31, so he is young, so he's got a lot of opportunity there. I love that he has really loaded up, so he's probably crushing all the tax-free accounts by doing the mega Roth conversion and all those other things. But if you've run it so lean that one unexpected thing is causing you to not have enough, I think a little more work probably is needed on 4 to make sure that number is right to reflect your life. Because I don't want you running it so lean that your emergency reserves is getting crushed anytime any life event happens.
But even in that, so let's say that it was fine. Let's say it was 4 or 5 months of expenses, but then he had to use it. He's asking, how do I replenish it? What are the things I should do? Should I stop saving as much for retirement? Should I sell brokerage assets, or should I just fly naked while I build it back up?
Well, I'm not an all or nothing type person. If I'm somebody who, yes, maybe I had a big thing come out, like you bought a new car, or you had a big medical expense that was unforeseen, and it was something that's you don't count on this happening every year. This is something that happens once every 5 years, or you have time to plan ahead. Then it's just like when I get stuck with an absolute question, I usually try to figure out, is there a way I can navigate both? Because I don't want you just to shut down a lot of your retirement savings. I don't think you have to, because at the savings rate you're doing. But it does mean that maybe you recalibrate and you say, hey, over the next 12 to 18 months, or maybe 9 months, you figure out what fits, how big of a need is this, how big of a hole in your emergency reserves is, and then how long are you comfortable with that risk? Because remember, emergency reserves is supposed to keep your financial life out of the ditch. So you want to be conservative with this. So if you're one of those people, maybe it's 3 months or 6 months, but there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, maybe I can dial down just a little off the retirement. So I'm still getting a lot of the benefit. I'm not stealing or taking away from my future self, but I am replenishing, but in a very calculated period of time, so that I'm going to come out, because you should be scared. If you're breaking the rules and your emergency reserves are below where they should be, you should have a little bit of fear. But I don't know that I would just shut it all down and say, okay, 100% needs to go back to emergency reserves to fill the bucket back up, because there might be a gray zone there where you have the chance to fill this back in over 6 to 9 months and still keep working. I wouldn't know without knowing more details.
I agree with what you said, but I also disagree with what you said a little bit. I'd do it faster. I really would. I really would do it faster because I think that emergency reserves have to be there. Now,
They do.
Here's what I would not do. I would not forego employer match. I would not forego like tax-free opportunities because you have a limited window on that. But if I had to back down my savings rate for a month, 2 months to really get that emergency reserve back to where it needs to be, I think that's just like risk management 101. I wouldn't shut it all down. I agree with you there. And I wouldn't sell brokerage assets either because the emergency has not happened yet. Well, brokerage assets, we know we're down 30% right now. I don't know that I want to lock in that 30% loss and just have that go to my emergency because I can still get to those assets if I need them. I personally would probably back down my savings, build up my cash, and then jack my savings back up.
I think, context is important here. If you ran it down so lean that you're within a month of living expenses, yeah, you probably need to hit pause, go fill the buckets up. But say you run it 6 months and you're down to 4 months.
Yeah, that one's
you
that
have
one's
some,
okay.
you're not running yourself naked here. You're actually, you got some extra space there. So that's the context that's probably needed in this decision too, is how much was this thing that derailed? Is it a minor inconvenience, or did you really have something come your way? Maybe it was a business opportunity, maybe it was a new car purchase, and you got yourself swimming naked a little bit. Yeah, you got to recalibrate in a heavy way to get that 1 month brought back up to the 4 to 6 months that's comfortable. But maybe this was a little hiccup that took you from 6 months to 4 months. I'm going to give you a little more grace that maybe you don't have to do an all stop, and you can still keep throwing some fuel on the fire that's building financial independence in the long term.